Okay, we are back with Victrola 5061996, which is 1922, about midway through 22, I think. This one has the abbreviated horn in the back, which means that the metal horn is underneath the motor board over to here, and the rest is wood. They did that to reinforce the back of the case, as I believe I covered that with the first video on this one. Well, so far this Victrola holds the record as being the filthiest machine I have ever seen on the inside. I mean, it was dirty on the outside too. The normal kind of dirt, you know, the 15 layers of cigarette smoke and ground in mouse turds, that kind of thing. But the inside was thousands of needles and dead bugs and piles of old grease and just nasty crap. But we got that all cleaned out of there. And then we got down to the real problems of the machine. It didn't have any wood issues. The case is good. All the joints are good. Nothing had to be glued, pressed, anything else, or repaired. This was strictly mechanical. Let's see. Where do we start? Okay. The governor had blown apart. That was number one, because they hadn't, I guess they tried to replace a single spring that was broken on it without replacing all three, and they didn't tighten the screws that hold that spring to the governor. So it worked loose and flew apart. That stopped the machine right there. But it seems that when they changed that spring, they lost one of the ball bearings in the governor cap, so we had to source one of those and put that in, so it has both ball bearings properly attached now, where they should be. Let's see, what else? We had, surprisingly, no needles lodged in the motor. Even with all those needles in there, you would have thought some of them would have migrated into the motor itself, but somehow they didn't. Luck, I guess. All 5 ball bearings were missing from underneath the tonearm mount. You know, right back there. The reproducer was pretty much shattered. They destroyed the diaphragm. They lost the little tiny screw that goes on the needle bar that attaches to the diaphragm. Broken springs, you know, all that stuff. A total rebuild on that, but that would have been done anyway. Let's see, what else was missing, gone, destroyed. No, that was pretty much it, I guess. The rest was just cleaning. Lots and lots and lots of cleaning. You know, so somebody, oh yes, that's right. The lid stay bracket was bent in a U, which meant the lid stay wasn't properly working. Fortunately, I guess nobody ever flopped open the lid and broke it off. Otherwise, that would have been the end of this. But I repaired that too. I just straightened it back out again, reattached it, and now it's working like it should. How that happened? Somebody probably leaned on the lid when it was open and bent it down, and stupid things happen, I guess. This is oak, obviously. It's not mahogany. There's the only 2 choices you get. And I'm going to guess, because of the dark shade, that it is fumed oak. Still quarter sawn, as you would expect, but this is fumed oak, darker shade, not golden oak. And because even under the locks and stuff like that, it's really not that you know, doesn't pop like golden oak does. It's more muted. But this was an era when dark woods were definitely in, so you kind of got to expect that. But it's working now. Everything's going. Finally, got it back together, and no further problems popped their head up. Let's see if you can see the label back there. 6669. Oh, what I say was before. I got the number wrong. 69116, not 6996. 69116. Victrola 50. 330. Okay, I have Stars and Stripes Forever on here, and this is just testing and playing with the reproducer, playing with the motor. Motor not in bad shape gear-wise. There's a little wear on some of the gears, but that's normal given its age. What isn't normal, though, is how nice the wood looks, even underneath. I'm not going to pick the machine up with everything on it, but the bottom panel looks as nice as the side panels do. There's no scrapes, stings, gouges. I think I showed that in the last video. This was an indoor used machine. That was a problem Victor had with these. They made them too good, something they realized quickly after this machine, that people were willing to use this as a regular house machine. It looked nice. It sounded great. Why spend $1,200 or $2,000 in today's money on a big floor model like this 16 over here? You can't really see, but it's there. And, you know, take up all kinds of real estate in the living room or the parlor. when you could get it out of this, which cost you $650 in today's money, and you already owned it. And a lot of people did that. You can always tell. The ones that were used outdoors, they tend to look at, they have little scrapes and nicks and scratches. Not abuse, but just normal setting things on the ground at the picnic site, and you're going to get a few little scratches now and then. But when you see one that doesn't have any of that, that was used indoors. And this is definitely one of those. And that could also account for why the motor wasn't full of needles either. It probably spent its entire life in exactly the orientation you see it right here. On a tabletop somewhere, lid up, and, you know, bottom down so nothing broke loose and kind of flew up into the motor, as if you were carrying it down the street or something like that. And the felt on this, I didn't replace the felt because it really wasn't that bad, but I used a lot of tape peeling off thousands of small animal hairs. Now, they could be cat, small dog, or maybe even a rat. I don't know. But they were there, and it took a while to get that out of there. I didn't want that getting all messed up in my records. Now, these records, I got a little pile here. I always have a pile of records I'm going through. This is a new stack, different ones, various, close to the era. This one's probably 1915 or 1914, around in there somewhere. Let me turn that so you can see it, or I can see it. Oh, not release the brake. There you go, Sousa band, Stars and Stripes. By the label, I'm going to guess that that is, you know, First World War era, which is a little bit old for the machine, but that's okay. It still plays good. It's got a number 2 reproducer. Not all of these did. This model in this year would have come with an exhibition from the factory. That actually played better than I expected it would. You never know until you test them how well they're going to play. Yeah, that wasn't bad. Good enough. I'm going to try side 2 and see if that was as good. I expect that's a very popular song in that time, and I assumed. Fairest of the Fair March, Sousa's Band again. Let's try that one. It's a little dusty, but not that bad. And I'm going to wind it because it is not warm in here today. And the grease is going to be a little on the thick side, even though it is light grease. People ask me sometimes what I use, and usually I will use white grease in these. And I will cut the white grease with a little bit of STP motor lube. Kind of like a super lube. Just to thin it out a little bit, make it flow a little smoother. Works out well. Everybody has their own magic formula. There is none that are, you know, the only thing you shouldn't do is use like a really pasty heavy grease. You shouldn't do that. But any light grease is fine. Doesn't matter what it is. You can use Vaseline too. That works. Vaseline with black graphite was the original formula. Not bad. Not bad for patriotic music from the First World War era. Very often you'll find they were played to death, but not always. Okay. Let's see, who do we have next? Dust on there. Well, we got a Brunswick record here, which everybody would probably recognize. Yes, we have No Bananas. I actually have a copy of this. Let's see. Bernie Kruger. Let's see if this one plays better than the one I have. Which really doesn't play that well because it was a popular song and it was played a lot. So it's got wear. And I guess a needle would be helpful. And it's kind of hard to play without them. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Let's see.
an old banana. We have an old banana today. With string beans and onions, tomatoes, and scallions, and all kinds of fruit and veg. We have an old-fashioned tomato, and a long knife and a piccato. But yes, we have an old banana. We have an old banana today. La 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 la.
Yeah, that one's got some definite wear, but not horrible. But you can hear it. Little clicks and pops and some deteriorating fidelity toward the end of it especially. But that's normal. This is, look, you see it. It's kind of scuffed. For a record, that was a very popular one in its time. It got played. People didn't buy these things to sit and look at them. They actually used them. And a popular song especially. We got a Vocalion, the Beer Garden Blues. How about that one? A little newer than the machine, but that's okay. We can still play it. It's got a number 2. And the number 2 was designed to be able to handle a bit more fidelity. Okay. Look at that, an original. Record duster from Paterson, New Jersey. Did not come with this machine. It actually came with a 16. Not this one, another one. That was pretty well destroyed, but it still had a few little knickknacks in it like this. Always nice to collect things like that. Bit of Victrola advertising. Well, not by the Victrola company. That was by this particular Paterson's leading Victrola store, the Eclipse Talking Machine Company. Okay, let's see about the Beer Garden Blues. wasn't too bad. It was a little scuffed up, so I wasn't entirely sure. And I wonder if we got room on this for one more. Might get cut off somewhere, but we'll see. Let's see what we got in the stack that I haven't tested yet. How about Long Lost Mama? That's also on the Brunswick label there. Long Lost Mama. I vaguely remember that one. I might have played it before, but let's try not to stab myself with these needles. I forgot my little glass bowl, but that will show up fairly shortly. I'm not going to be doing this. Okay. Alrighty. And one problem with these machines is they never gave you anywhere to put the spent needles, so I got to use a magnetic tray. And there we go. Successful test of the 1922 Victrola 50 69116 and fumed oak. I'll probably do another video playing some more records with this. I'm going to be testing records since it's here, and I won't have the next machine ready for a little bit. There are more coming. We have that 16 over there, which has cabinet issues, but we're going to play with it anyway because it's here. And then we have this. Parts on the way. But we'll get them done. I got a bunch of Columbias too, including a horn machine and what else? A few, you'll see. Anyway, I'll get to them in due time because there is no limit to how slow I can work. But there you go. Oh, I was saying before, I forgot to mention with the needles. These machines in this year, this 1921, 22, and 23, I don't think till mid-23 sometime, did they get a needle holder, which went, where do you got? The side crank machines. It went right back there next to the nameplate. It was a double compartment one. It was actually later copied for the HMV 100, I believe. Licensed that design. Or maybe it was the early 100. One of the 101. One of the HMVs used it also. After Victor did. But that's not unusual. HMV licensed a lot of product designs from Victor because, well, when Eldridge Johnson owns a 50% whack of your company stock, you can do that. That was the only company in the world that could. Everybody else had to pay steep licensing fees and mostly was denied a lot of Victor's more juicy patents. Well, there we go. All cleaned up, playing again, all the needles gone. And yeah, that was the one thing these things never got, was a spent needle receptacle of some kind. You could buy them. You could buy a cardboard needle box right from the Victor dealer that came with a compartment you could use for that. Most people didn't bother to do that, I don't think. You don't see too many of them around today. The big machines had the small tabletops had the same issue. You know, the 4, the 6. Once you get into the Victrola 8, then you start seeing needle cups and you start seeing the spent needle receptacle that you can drop the needles in. Otherwise, you end up with needles everywhere. That's probably why the needles on this machine were thrown into the horn opening and ended up inside the case. Because that wasn't, once or twice. They were literally, without any exaggeration, there were hundreds of needles in there. And it was a real mess. So you don't want to do that. You don't want needles floating around inside your motor compartment because, if you pick the machine up, turn it on its side or upside down or anything else, those needles go into the motor where they could jam up the gears and just make a total mess. You don't want to do that. Plus, you don't want spent needles floating around where your feet can find them. Definitely not that. And there you go.